How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be going to BrickSlopes, Colorado 2025 and checking out a ton of incredible LEGO builds by builders from all over the area, even out of state that flew in for this. It was honestly incredible how many different builds were there. I was blown away by the sheer talent and creativity by all these people. Also, towards the end of the video, there's going to be a Q&A session with a bunch of LEGO Masters contestants, so stay tuned for that. I thought a bunch of them gave really good answers for competitive building and questions about if you want to be on LEGO Masters, so stay tuned for that. That was really cool to sit through. These are all the first builds we saw right when we came in, so they had Travis Kelce, John Elway, and a bunch of other characters done with stud designs. They even had this cat next to a bunch of other Denver sports teams and Luigi on the left. Here's a look at the entire place once we got into the main room, and you can see we've got a ton of stuff to go through. So starting off here, we've got this incredible building right next to the forest. They've even got rivers through there, tons of different tree techniques, and a little castle area over to the left called Overlook Castle. I was honestly mesmerized by all the different roof techniques, and they even have lighting included in some. And then over here, we've got the Cliff of Despair, which was also very impressive to look at. Like, just look at some of those stained glass techniques they use. Next up, we've got the beautiful tulip fields in Holland with a working windmill, and then behind there, we've got a brick-built knight on a horse and a ghost. Next up is this really tall lighthouse. I love how you got Scooby and Shaggy down on the beach there, and tons of details with the waves and the boat and sharks. Here's a Colorado camp. You can see the flags in the center there. Then we've got a little boat area on the side, and then tons of trees and wildlife. This Denver crime lab was also super cool. It was nice how they had the whole detailed interior in the picture so you can see how close it was to the real thing. This entire table over here I was blown away with, all the different space stuff, the Alien, Star Wars, but if you look closer at the Star Wars, it's actually Cars Easter eggs because they do have eyes on all the windscreens. The Leia helmet was amazing, the Star Wars Millennium Falcon coffee table. We've even got a huge Star Trek ship on the corner there and some more Star Wars builds over here. These were all incredible to look at. Next up, we've got some really awesome builds that had moving parts, but they were also synced up with music, so they were drumming along to the song. Those were really fun. All of the colors and lights in this one were incredible too, and here is another one of my favorites. This Mandalorian one was incredible as well. The Chrome Starfighter, and it's signed by the actors of Moff Gideon, Ahsoka, and Bo-Katan. That is just awesome. Here's some more large-scale space stuff. I mean, look how huge that starfighter is. And then speaking of huge, look at this LEGO city and look at those skyscrapers right there. We also had a fun little train yard with the Titanic on top. Really nice Ahsoka Tano stud art. I really like that. And then down below, we've got a Curious George build with the yellow hat. And then some more builds by Mason Martin and Hatsune Miku over there. Here's some great Seinfeld scenes. I especially love the soup kitchen one. That one is nice. This clue board with all the pieces is also super creative, and I love the depth in there in each room. Another absolutely massive build was this Avengers Tower. It actually has a lit up reactor on the bottom of it, and this thing was so big it was absolutely towering over all of us when we were standing over here. Right next to that is the Ministry of Magic, and I was just obsessed with the attention to detail in each floor. This one was so much fun to look at, and the way they have the lights included was just great as well. I also thought that moon with the loose studs was super fun to look at, and then this moving Adventure Time one was also great. Then in the back, we've got a couple smaller Star Wars dioramas. Got a pretty big variety on this table, one of my favorites being the Animal Crossing Leaf. Here's a couple more massive Zelda sets. Those two were really impressive as well. Then you can see the stud art character in the back. And then one that I really liked was this Mario vs. Bowser battle with the flames down below. That one was super fun. There's also a huge Pokemon arena next to the Sorting Hat and the Earth if Iguodala didn't hit the shot. These characters were all super cute as well, and then this next battle from either The Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit was super fun to look at. I mean, just look at all the attention to detail. It even has the dragon and little Shire area in the back. That one was awesome. Here's a nice Stranger Things one. I haven't seen the show, but this one looks really cool as well. Another thing I loved was the big food on the platter with the knife and the drinks there. Then we had those minifigures, the big Joker, and a bunch of little habitats over to the side, including this one that had all these different colors. This all white one with all the different staircases in there was also really fun, and this one was creative as well. I loved the circular design there with all the different colored leaves. That one reminds me of Dreams a lot. It's just beautiful to look at. And then these ones designed by Moto were just great. You can see they had one missing from the pillow because someone was actually walking around wearing it. But they also had this huge Sonic one and tons of Pokemon ones done by Zane builds. I was just blown away by this entire table. You're going to see this huge Gyarados here. This one was just massive in person, and all of these I was just so impressed with. I thought this little outdoor camping one was really fun as well. It's got the A-frame cabin set in the back and lots of fun little details, campers, little river through there. That one was just really neat. Of course, we've got the mysterious and important work down here for Severance fans, and then we've got the Great Wave with Godzilla on it, and a couple more art pieces. Then we've got this huge Western one. This one was done by Tim, who was on LEGO Masters, I believe. And then that Western art was also amazing. I love the tree trunk. And then look at that huge cactus, and then the bee land one. That one was super fun as well. This one was just an incredible display as well, and I love the landscaping and how you can see the different layers of the earth from the side. This one was also amazing, and I love the different tree colors and the darker water. We've got the Declaration of Independence signing there, but back to the water and all the landscaping and techniques there, that was incredible. Here we've got the little outdoor lookout followed by the tank battle. Those were just so nice. Then we've got some more World War II looking stuff. All of this was so nice. We've got the Indiana Jones one here. Then we've got this little gem one with the little mine cart. We've got an outdoor one, a little mushroom village. There was honestly so much. I really should have slowed down and taken my time more. Here's one by Will Key. I feel like I'm going to butcher the name of that, so I'm not going to attempt it, but the techniques were just incredible. I think his landscaping design is just so recognizable now that I've seen a few of his builds. But here's all of the others. He's got that village as well. That one was amazing. The temple up on the hill with all the rock work. Then we've got the octopus coming up out of the water to take the ship. We've got the broken sword. Even this one I was really a fan of. And then here's a closer look at that octopus, or the squid, I mean. This next one was honestly so much to take in, but it was just absolutely incredible to see in person. I'm not sure camera does it justice, but this statue on the side was just ridiculous. Then we've got all the different stuff within there. There's just so much going on. No matter where you look, you're going to find new stuff. That little steampunk airship was great. We've got the little dragon, another castle with great architecture. Moving along, we've got some incredible D&D stuff. I know this top left one I've seen before by Nikki Malone Daniels, but all of the rest of these were just so fun to look at, and it's incredible the way they use lights. And speaking of using lights, this one even uses water as well as lights. So you can see the flames lighting up through there, but then we've got the mist all the way down on this other side. That is just one of the most crazy builds I've ever seen in person. Here we've got some micro Minecraft, brick-built Grinch over here, and then another nether display in front of this huge build. Hero's Journey Through the Swamp. Next up, we've got Tourist Castle with some train tracks in the foreground and some huge pillars in the front of that build. This next one is called The Wildness of Chima, and this is a theme I missed out on, but I just loved the build, and I loved all the different characters and all the different gator themes around there, like the entrance there with the green lights. Then we've got some boats all around, trees everywhere. That was just incredible to look at. Next up is the Hope Castle Complex, and this is just a huge ice castle, little ice village down there. This was so much fun to look at, and just tons of transparent pieces. The Stanley Hotel by The Shining was from Chad Rode and Nikki Malone Daniels. Those were also incredible. Next up, we've got the Excite Bike Playable Arcade, and these were just super fun to look at, the way they move on the track like that. That is just so creative. And now we're down to the final table. We've got some Wicked stuff, nice little character builds there. We've got Duolingo, this nice cat art, not quite sure what that is. And then we've got The Legend of Zelda, really big frame next to this other artwork. All right, next up, we've got the Q&A session. Those were some truly incredible builds, so I'm excited to get right into the Q&A with the LEGO Masters contestants.
Two questions. One, do you have any advice for LEGO competitions? And two, have you ever seen a LEGO, I think it was a goat? Yeah, have you ever seen a LEGO goat?
He's referring to the rareness of the goat in the community and all that, so we can speak to that. The first part was, I've already forgotten. Oh, competitive building? Yeah. So any advice for LEGO competitive building? We'll do that first. Yeah,
so if you're thinking about getting into competitive LEGO building, I say do it. It's so much fun to challenge yourself. And what I would do is practice structured creativity. So if you see a challenge on the show, try it at a smaller scale. Be like, what would I come up with? What would I build? And then try to build that a little bit smaller and just practice that day to day and just like keep going and give it your all and just have fun with it. And like just That's the biggest thing. Try all the challenges.
She actually judged the Legoland competition for kids, so I would listen to her. As far as the goat goes, there are newer goats now on, I picked red last time I looked, but I think a couple people here probably do have the OG goat.
So I am a proud owner of 2 of those goats.
And he's giving up one today.
No, luckily they are home locked away. But so I have a unscrupulous friend in our actually Houston club though, because back many years ago, the goat, it was scarce. I mean, I think there was one on Bricklink, and I didn't know anything about him. We were at a flea market and found one, or I found one in a bin, and I wasn't even sure it was Lego. And so my son and I were ecstatic, and I showed it to my friend, and he's like, "Where'd you find that?" And he went rummaging around, and he found the other one. So then he was relentless about talking us out of that goat, and we went back to his house, and he bundled all of this dinosaur stuff, knowing that that's what my son enjoyed. And I had no idea the scarcity of this goat at that time, so I finally said, okay, if you can talk Aiden into giving me the goat, why, that's okay. So we gave it to him, and I went home, and I looked it up, because I was going to just order another one. Yeah, there was one goat, and back at that time, I think it was $35. Now they went up to $150, but I got lucky. I got on eBay, and some guy had the entire set, because it came in a medieval set, the old mill, I think it was called. Very cool set. And he had it for $60. It was used for $60, and I won that bid. So I got my goats in the end, but yes, they are very rare, and I prize them. Prize them heavily. They don't go anywhere near the displays, but they are beautiful.
I had that set and I sold it, and now I'm wondering who bought it.
I think maybe I should switch seats. You guys need to figure that stuff out. But to your question, I don't know anything about that. However, when it comes to getting ready like competitive building, you have a watch on, I see, right? So time is your friend, or it could be your enemy. So this is what I would challenge you to do. Take a set that you like, a small set, and build it once. Time yourself. Build it again. Time yourself again. Then take the instructions, put it behind your back, and try to build the exact same set without looking at the instructions, and see how much time it takes for you to do that. That's how you get kind of in that mode of when you're competing and there is a time that you can work and figure out certain angles that you can build to try to cut your time. So I would challenge you to do that at your race. Okay?
I'm here to ask a question for my son. He's a big fan of the Lego Master show, and he was curious how the process of being tasked for the show went. Like, was there a pool of people that they narrowed it down? Were you directly reached out to, or just how did that go, and what was the experience like?
So, before they answer, there's one thing we can't talk about, which is anything past the second Zoom interview. But we can speak in generalities, okay? That's just one of the areas that they prefer to keep a little gray, is the atomic detail toward the end that we go through. Okay? Yeah. Do you want to go down the line? Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about my experience because I was reached out to, and for me, I think like the most important part was, can you hear me? Yeah, perfect. I think for me, the most important part is to find a teammate. Like, they want a unit. Like, they don't want just one person. So you have to be aware that you and your teammate are a unity, and like your vision is like the same, aligned. Because even though that you can be like a great, amazing builder, if you don't have a partner that really complements you, it's going to be hard for the casting to accept you because they want a team. So for me, because I think my process was different. I did not apply or anything, but for me, the important thing was to find a teammate that kind of aligned with myself, and that made, I feel like, my process way easier.
That also being said, they reached out to her because she has a social media. They do tend to see who is in the community. They are here right now. They're watching the people who are displaying. So keep that in mind. If you're putting your stuff out there, chances are they probably see you. Okay? Same thing for myself. They reached out to me. They reached out to me for season 2 technically. And they tried to pair me with another female. And it was, once again, the personality wasn't there. When I got with Michelle, it worked out beautifully.
For me, it's just a good teammate. That gets you to the next round.
I had a little bit of a different experience. I'm part of a LUG, Lego user group, basically Lego clubs in different cities, and so I look around to see where those are at, because they're a really good source of community in Lego. You know, Denver LUG obviously exists here. But they reached out to the casting agent reached out to our club on Facebook and said, hey, is anybody interested in this? A few people responded, and they asked me for some portfolio kind of stuff. And once that was kind of done, they were interested, and we did the rest of the application process kind of thing. So again, always building, having something to show is, I think, important. And then being a part of the community already is also really important.
Yeah, for me, it was kind of interesting because we've never heard of the show Lego Masters before. So when they reached out to me through IG, I threw it to spam, because I thought it was, some casting manager talking about a show of Lego and we're building. No, I didn't believe it. So I threw it to spam, and then they emailed me. And the little signature on the bottom, so I looked at the name, put it in Google, and I realized, oh wow, this is a producer for the Big Brother, and I watched that TV show. So then I typed in Lego Master, and I said, oh wow, this is in the UK and Australia. This is a real show. So I reached out again and said, hey, sorry about that. I had to double check. But yeah, that's how they got me on the show, and then I brought my brother along for the ride. So.
By the way, I'll just tack on. Season 6 is casting right now. Okay, so they're out there and they're searching for talent. Join us. Join us if you can. And you'll go to legomasters.tv if you want to do a blind application without the casting agent reaching out to you. But they can also be found. And if you are on social media and someone with a random name starts hitting you up, people send me messages on Instagram like, do you know this person or this person? I'll be like, oh yeah, it's Raph. Yeah, he's casting. He's legit. But they are casting season 6 right now. And then for your person that you're interpreting for, I think they did Lego Masters Junior, but I haven't seen a casting call for another season yet. But always keep your eye out.
And I would just like to add that I've met a lot of people that are interested in applying, but they feel like, oh, maybe I'm just like not good enough. And it's like, please don't let that stop you. Because I'm gonna tell you, pressure makes you make amazing things. So don't let okay, maybe I'm not ready, I'll apply it next year. No, if you have it, right there, just do it.
Actually, I want to add to everybody, I have an email from she had asked me to share it with anybody. So if there is any of you that do want to try, come talk to me, and I'll give you her email and reach out to her. I don't know beyond that what'll happen, but get your foot in the door anyway.
You do have to be 18 or older because of the way labor's laws work.
And if you haven't seen the recent thing that came out on YouTube, season 5 will be starting to air on May 19. Yes, and maybe you'll see some familiar faces on it.
So when I was probably your age, my grandmother taught me how to sew. And I made a Batman costume, and I made my brother a Robin costume. And we lived in a little tiny town. And so we had our BMX bikes that were our bat bikes, and we made a cardboard bat computer. So the first episode, when Will came up to talk to us, I told him this story about how he and I had something in common, that we were both Batman. So that was fun. And he was great. I loved him to death, and that was a big part of why I wanted to be on the show, was to get to hang with him and do stuff. So he's awesome.
I am a huge Lego fan of all kinds, right? So the Lego Batman movie I loved. And Lego did these giveaways where they had baseball cards. And so I had a Lego Batman baseball card in my pocket every episode of the show. And on the episode we got voted off the island, so to speak, I asked him to sign it, and he signed my Batman card. It's one of my favorite things from the show. So he doesn't always just wear black.
He sometimes smells like peanut butter. Like, and then you just smell peanut butter.
I'm just gonna tell you, like, meeting him in person was amazing, and he is the nicest person you can imagine. We were doing like not as harsh of COVID protocols in our season, but still some. And when we got voted off, one of the least to do, very upset, but it sounds very better. He came out and hugged us. And he was like, "You guys were amazing. It was so nice meeting you." So he's like such a nice person.
He's a comedian on and off camera. When he's not reading from the prompter, he's still joking around. He's still bantering. He's still relating. He's asking questions. He's engaging. So I think that says a lot about his character.
I have a funny memory of the very first time he approached the table. He came up to me and he was like that close. And I looked in his eyes and went, "Oh, his irises are different colors." His eyes are actually very handsome. He's very handsome eyes, yeah. So there's a little tidbit for you. Will Arnett's irises are actually multicolored. Which you wouldn't get unless the guy's like right there. It was like, "Oh man."
Oh, it's real quick, so with Will Arnett, Will Arnett is also attached to Reese's Pieces. I don't know if you guys knew that. So on the show, me and my brother, we know his voice. His voice is very distinct, and all that stuff. So we used to say little jokes to him about Reese's Pieces just to see if he'll break that character. So we're like, "Hey, Will, man, we're so hungry right now, man." My brother's like, "Yeah, I could go for some Reese's Pieces." He's like, "Guys, come on." Yeah.
And that's going to wrap it up for this video. Thank you so much for watching if you've made it to this point. I had so much fun at BrickSlopes Colorado 2025. That was our first experience at a LEGO convention, and I had a great time. So I'm happy to go to more in the future. Make sure to comment what your favorite build was down in the comments. There was so much to choose from. I don't even know if I could tell you what my favorite was. But other than that, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for some more great videos, and I'll see you in the next one.